I am an ocean made of tears. My eyes flow over, salty streaks down my cheeks. Some days I am nothing but sorrow, and there is nothing I can do but feel it. Each relationship I had that did not have the space for my sorrow, for my emotions to be expressed, ended. And yet, I can't blame them. I don't blame them anymore. If you don't have capacity to hold your own sorrow, the sorrow of another person feels and is unbearable. And I also know that my sorrow is no one else's to hold but my own. My own, and maybe the oceans of emotion, the oceans that we all connect to in our inner world. But there needs to be a space where it can be in the outer world too, allowed to come out, welcome, appreciated. How else can this sorrow or these emotions transform? How can we transform through it other than by letting it flow out and by flowing with it? For me, the most soothing way, the most effective way to let my sorrow wash out is through music. Either listening, connecting to the oceans of others, the oceans of emotion that other people float in, that they have created, expressed, floating together there with them, or by creating my own and then floating in my emotions in a different form. In this episode, I don't want to talk that much. I don't want to talk anymore. I was crying most of the day. I'm in this sorrow ocean space, and I want to float in music. So I will share some of my sorrowful songs to you so that you can be welcome to float in my oceans of emotion. If you want to, just feel, just be, and thank you for meeting me here. Oh yeah, that's... Even though you hurt me the way we all do, there's no one that I'd rather be with but you. Baby, we're a fall, and that's the way it is. Without all the dark no light could exist. It's the oldest cliche, or perhaps the deepest truth. The person that can hurt me the most is who my heart will choose. And that is the purpose of this beautiful life. Through all the suffering, you know you're alive, alive, alive. Through all the suffering, you know it's alive, alive. Through all the suffering, you know you're alive. Now a little song, little gentle song about watching your phone at 3 a.m. searching for the dots, looking at the dots, waiting to see a sign of life, someone to write you who you desperately miss and want to hear from. Three small dots as you write, watching them dance in the light. On the screen of lonely nights, symbols turn into hope held tight, hanging on to words so sad, side, hanging on to dots, my newfound plight, hanging on to words so sad, side, hanging on to dots, my precious plight. Three small dots as you ride, watching them dance in the light. On the screen of lonely nights, symbols turn into hope held tight. is called Waterfall. The clouds can cast their judgment on me in the shape of rain. Let it wash away what I've been drowning in the pain. I am open now, waiting patiently, with my breath held until you are here again. The plants are reaching for the sun. I draw the curtains closed. I question every word I write, but can't escape the flow. I'm a waterfall, always going down. Find me in the sharp rocks, lose it in the foam. I seem to have the habit of raising my loved ones to the skies. I look up from below like they are gods flying high, while I keep myself down in the underworld, where no gods can reach me and I can't make them hurt. Thank you for listening to this slightly different episode. I haven't heard many podcasts where they just play music, and I wanted to try it out this time. I have been working on some episodes, but there has been this feeling of not yet. Feel, be in the shift, be in the in-between and the void a little bit. I had a few experiences where I felt like all the things I thought I was and had held on to inside of myself in my identity fell away, dissolving into nothingness. I gave away a lot of my old clothes, and when I feel that urge and that need to do so, it's often accompanied by this feeling of like shifting old layers, being in nothing so that you can then come out and become something else. Build up new layers again. They might be shifted at some later point, but that's how it's meant to be, at least for me. So I tried to fight against my impatience and restlessness, or let's not maybe say fight. Maybe that's a bit more combative than I would want to be. I was trying to gently question my urge to be productive and consistent, and instead go in, be in this void and feel what I feel. Let myself cry. Let myself be soft. And in this process, in all of these shifts and emotional oceans, and being in this in-between, in this void, what has been my life raft was music. Finding my way back to it, making my music again. Earlier I didn't release anything or share anything because I felt like it was all so melodramatic and whiny. But emotions are seen as whiny when you can't hold them, when you don't have the capacity to face them or be with them. Emotions need to be whiny because they need to get out and be expressed. And that's still something different than just pure whining. Just noticing those different voices in my head, those judgments, has also been a useful thing of being still, a bit more still than before. This episode, what you heard before with me singing my songs, I was in an emotional state and I just needed to express them. I needed to be seen by myself while I was recording it. So I decided to record a video as well while I was performing the songs. And I also recorded that video as an experiment to dare to show my face however I am, in what state I am. Because there's some side of me that has this urge and need and something in my soul that calls me to do so. And then there's those other voices who are like afraid of losing face, afraid of appearing like very self-centered for wanting to or needing to show my face. But then I was thinking about how this being able to have some kind of a self-reference by seeing and showing yourself is quite fascinating if you think of your whole life and your identity as a type of performance. You're performing for everyone else from your own first-person vantage point. When you look in a mirror, you see yourself. But looking in the mirror, you can only see the things you are looking at. You can only see yourself looking yourself in the eye. While if you look at a video later, you can see yourself look away to the sides. You can see at least this outer appearance and the energy of that emotion moving through when you do look to the side as well. So that was interesting. And I'm still searching, growing into this whole thing of having a Patreon and this wanting to share some bonus stuff. And that's as it should be for me. I think I need to treat it as some kind of a learning experiment as well and test things out organically. So, connected to this episode, I decided to share that video version, which is around 25 minutes, where I perform these songs. And in that video version I also have 2 additional songs that I was somehow a bit shy to share here more publicly, so because those songs are kind of still work in progress and looking for their final shape. So if you're curious to see that video version and would want to support me in these strange explorations, then you're welcome to join that Patreon, and of course that can be cancelled if you just want to give a little support and watch the video. You can feel free to do that. And I also included one audio file that you can download of the song Alive that I performed, where I sing that through all the suffering you know you're alive. And those words are also kind of funny, because when I wrote that song, I wrote those words to try to convince myself that it was worth going through a tough situation, a relationship that was at that point causing me a lot of pain. But I felt deep inside that there's something at the end of this, there's something on the other side of this. So I wrote that song trying to express those things. And now, a few years later, when I am sitting here and playing that song again and recording it, I was struck by how different this situation is that I'm in now, and that I can see that for me that was a good decision and the right path to keep moving forward. I learned so much. I particularly learned that my whole approach of thinking that through my suffering I know I'm alive kind of created me an approach to my life where I would almost create this kind of suffering because I was afraid of not feeling those intense things, or there was something in me that needed to or wanted to experience those intense highs and lows. And I realized how different and similar my current situation is, because there's a different type of stability or core trust in myself that I kept developing, that also makes me feel like I don't need to look for suffering. I know I'm alive. I'm alive when I'm calm. I'm alive when I'm not feeling particularly anything. Everything is alive. Everyone is alive in their own ways. You don't need to feel more or less. It's all a part of the whole. And the way that situation and this current reality of mine is similar is that I feel a lot of things, and I do feel pain, and I think I have a need to go through that, at least still. And that's okay too. I'm not like a person actively chasing the storm, but sometimes I will be in the storm and then I can come out again. It's a dynamic movement. So thank you very much for sharing this space with me. sending you love from one soul to another, from one expression of soul to another.